Paul Willoughby, thank you so much for bringing me to your favourite bar, which is the Moon and Sixpence in Oregon, the United States of America.
Indeed. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have to say, it looks a little bit different than when I was frequenting it back in the 90s, I guess it was originally. Late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, I lived in America, in Portland, Oregon, for 15 years. Me and my mates used to get up at silly o'clock to go watch the Premier League, have a nice English breakfast. Sometimes we'd have a pint at silly o'clock, which sometimes it would be a coffee like you just sip, but sometimes it would be a pint of Guinness or something, or a nice Portland ale, which were quite popular. I remember watching one of the Euros. Can't remember which one. It would have been in the 2000s. Either Euros or World Cup there. We watched all the games there. So then we would have something other than a coffee. But yeah, we had some good nights there with some mates.
So I have to go back. To it's not quite the way it was when you were there. Are you suggesting that after you left, they had to go and redecorate? Was it that good a going away party?
There were a few nights potentially they could have had to clean up after us, but no, I think we were quite sensible. It's quite a small place, so it was a locals place, and then we were sort of welcomed in because we like football. When you're in the US, there's always the Irish bar. You know what you're getting with the Irish bar. This was the English bar, but you got your darts players, you got your pool players, and you got your football watchers. So we didn't get too crazy because we would probably been. We wouldn't have had somewhere to go, so we were smart enough to keep in line. But we had some good nights there.
Yeah, no, and as you know yourself, I'm sure sometimes a pint at 7, you can be controlled. The match is over, you go home, and sometimes you could be there from 7 to 7. That's the problem one.
Yeah, well, I guess it would have depended if it was in football season or soccer season, as we had to call it out there.
Soccer season, indeed. And I'm trying to think back to 2000, 2002. Might have been short campaigns for the English team. That.
Well, it could have been any. That could be any tournament, Gary. If I'm honest, apart from more recently.
Oh, what a great answer! No, what you're meant to say there to an Irish guy is at least we qualify. That's.
Look, Gary, I may look silly, but I know the audience of this podcast, so I'm not going there. No chance.
We're still celebrating 34 years ago, 35 years ago, Italia 90 at this stage. But
do you want to know a little anecdote on that then?
Yeah.
Italia 90, Romania, Ireland,
yeah,
in Italy. I was behind the goal where Paki Bonner saved the penalty.
Okay, there has to be a story as to how or why you took one of the 50,000 tickets every Irish person was looking for. Come on.
I think it was more by luck. So I got 3 tickets. That happened to be one of them, which was a bit of a result. The other one, which was a bigger result, was the England-Belgium, where David Platt scored the goal over his head. So no, I was just fortunate, but both were memorable for different reasons, and I was certainly an Irish fan that day.
Is it that we're rose-tinted glasses or somewhat of that? But was that one of the top competitions for whatever reasons, or have you got better ones?
I think Italia 90 probably stands out for me. I mean, we've had some other halfway decent ones. We've had lots of nearlies, but as a tournament, the quality, I think Italia 90 you'd be hard push.
Yeah. And there was the romance as well, if you remember, about Scalacci and wasn't Rossi just back from suspension and he ended up top scorer or something, or was that a different competition? And in Italy and the whole thing, did they win in the end? They did. Did they?
No, I think it was a boring Brazil-Germany final, you know, or Argentina-Brazil. No, Argentina-Germany.
Argentina-Germany.
Italy beat England in the third, fourth.
It was so good and so exciting that we can't even remember who won it. But hey,
well, most of the finals are a bit of a letdown, to be fair. So
that's the fair truth. So we're sitting there, we're out in Oregon. You're all doing your thing at 7 a.m. and there's a lightning strike. The only person left with any coverage is you. 3 apps. What are they?
Cool. Well, you got to this day and age, you got to keep your WhatsApp because then you can at least keep in contact with your friends. Work, personal is more interesting, but you can keep in contact with the wider world. BBC Sport.
I thought you just said wife, and I was going to say,
Well,
okay, Paul.
Wife and girlfriend. No, so BBC Sport, sports fan. Other apps are available, but BBC Sports my one. Or Premier League fantasy football if I'm checking out I'm doing. But BBC Sport. And then Strava. Strava is a bit of a way to check that you're doing moving your lazy self around. And I would say I've been quite lazy until this year. I managed to start a resolution and keep it. So far, so good. So Strava, I keep Strava.
So Strava, I know only because of people tell me it's great if you're a cyclist.
Yeah, cycle, run. Cycle's my one at the moment. But you've got, it's a bit like your sporting Facebook. You can follow your friends and see what they're doing. They can like it, and it's a bit of a virtual high five. Well done, you.
We love competition, don't we? We just love it. We love the fact until we're not doing so well, and then it's stupid. That's a stupid. I'll be here now next year, and that's a stupid app. It never worked, and it'll only be because you haven't got kept on or something,
Well, it's an accountability because if you look prior to December, there would be a distinct lack of activity from Paul Willoughby. But now there's a good level, so I'm proud to promote it. Don't go back before December.
No, but I hope you're not like the people years ago when Fitbit came on the scene, and there was I won't say who the company was, but there was a reduction in your health insurance policy if you did so many steps, 10,000, whatever. Unbeknownst, some were getting home and putting the Fitbit on the dog's collar.
That sounds genius to me.
It does.
Counterproductive, but
it does. But I guess somebody was looking, going, okay, how's this guy faster than Usain Bolt 14 times a day? But anyway, listen.
Yeah, that'd be some good stats.
You have your 3 apps. Guess what? You've been able to use WhatsApp. They've restored everything. The door opens. Who's there for a pint? Dead or alive?
Well, yeah, I toyed with this one. I was thinking of a few maybe old footballers, maybe a Pele. That would be quite good. Maybe someone like Nelson Mandela. But then I thought, I'm quite a simple guy. So I was thinking, my granddad passed away when I was 15. I didn't get to go have a pint with him. And he liked a bit of a drink. He was the lead party animal at the family party. So I think I'd like to go back and have a pint with Grandad.
Where did Grandad come from?
Oh, he was a Londoner. The wrong side of London, I was told. So he was a Londoner. It might be where I got into sales. He was a traveling salesman. He used to sell crystal, sort of high level. We used to see him for a couple of weeks in the year when he was doing the Midlands when I grew up in Northampton. But yeah, he was quite a special guy. So I didn't have a chance to have a pint with him as an adult. My other granddad, who I didn't know, I'd maybe like to have a pint with both of them, but certainly Grandad Fred. Grandad Tom, I didn't know.
The first lad sounds like he had character.
Oh yeah, he was life and soul. I've got pictures of him dancing. His thing, for some random reason, was dancing with a pint on his head, and he could do it very well. And he used to be market trader in London, and he would carry stuff on his head. So his thing, when he would dance with a pint on his head, and I was like, this is strange, but also quite cool.
In a world that's gone so digital, in a world that's gone so, you look at filters and you say, is that real? Is it unreal? The smallest things actually sometimes amaze you what people can do. So I think that's quite cool. There's a great art, and I'm sure we're in a bar, and I hope you'd agree. But do you ever see a really, really good barman in operation, a really good one. That can
got it down.
They can serve 10, 15 people at once, you know, or a really good server, somebody who can have 6 or 7 different drinks on the go at the same time. So I think that authenticity will probably come back into fashion. Those quirky things that people can do.
Yeah. No, that was his thing, and he did it every family. It wasn't just a one-off family party; it was every party. We've got pictures of him doing it, and it's sort of, you know, my cousins and, you know, second cousins. They all remember Grandad Fred for me, or Uncle Fred for them doing it. It's bizarre. I didn't really realize at the time, but it's one of those things that stick with you now. So yeah, Grandad Fred, he was a character, definitely great character.
And what have you learned? 24 hours yesterday to today. Anything of interest?
Well, it actually was. Yeah, I went to Hengistbury Head. I live down in Christchurch, so Hengistbury Head is 5 minutes from here. You can see the Isle of Wight off from the headland. There's £500,000 beach huts, shacks, basically. I don't have one, just for reference.
You repair them though. That's what you should say. I was only down there because I do a bit of repair. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I could do. I could repair them, not own one. So I'm down at Hengistbury Head. I've been going to Hengistbury Head for, I don't know, 25 years, maybe more. Done the same walk. As we're coming back past the hiker cafe, there's a little sign there. And apparently Charles Rolls of Rolls-Royce, first aviation flight from there in 1910. There was a congregation of aviation. And I'm sounding like I'm a lot more interested and into things that I'm not, by the way. But this sign was there, and I thought, I've never seen that, so I read it. And yeah, Charles Rolls' first aviation flight from Britain. However, it wasn't a good ending story because his plane disintegrated there and then, and that was it. But it's a bit of history that I'd walked past for years. So
it's a start, but well, it's like even all things, they have to start somewhere, and it's amazing, that old story, isn't it? That success has many fathers, and failure is like a little orphan in the corner.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and you know how many roles Mr. Royce's were fluting around with plywood, I guess, back in the start of pretty much plywood with diesel or whatever it was. And you often see it now that everybody seems to want to be successful from day one, whereas actually building a bit of calluses on your hands, and I'm sure we've spoken about it before, nothing like being an apprentice.
Getting
stuck in, making mistakes, and then finding a way to be or disintegrating your plane.
Well, yeah, I mean, wood and diesel together. What could have gone wrong?
Totally. What could possibly go wrong with no CAD and no computers and probably some sort of a sextant? Is that what they call it, for navigation if he did manage to get up in the air?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, what could have possibly gone wrong? But it did, sadly. But yeah, he went to Eton, he went to Cambridge from mechanical school. So I learned all these things that, you know, I wouldn't say I'm into this stuff, but I thought, well, I'm going to go read that sign. I've been here for years. And yeah.
And don't you know now, Paul, don't you just know now you are the aviation guy from EnerSys? You're going to become that guy. You know everything. Well, no, you don't, but you know more than the rest of them. So listen, that's a key thing in life, isn't it?
Yeah, well, aviation expert, that may be as far as it goes. But yeah, it's an interesting story anyway.
Well, what you've proven is you can read at least. That's one. That we know.
There were small words on the sign, so I was good.
That's the technical. That's the real genius. So, Paul Willoughby, thank you for bringing us to Oregon. We haven't been there before. Glad that they've restored it after you wrecked it when you left. Thanks for joining us as a partner. Much appreciated. And I'll allow you to go and delve into the local library and some more aviation expertise, little nuggets.
I'll report back and look forward to it. But yeah, appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having us as part of your great organisation. And yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks a million, Paul.
Cheers. Take care.